from the break. You're still watching Smart Means Business, and I'm here with Andrew Barije as we head into more discussions. This time around, we are looking at the SMB Insight, which SMB Insight is going to be rotating around the impact of the Kenyan demonstration on Uganda. Yesterday, there was a demonstration in Kenya. I think it was like the talk of town in the country here.
Yeah, everywhere. And, most of the people felt like, among us to peers, like, oh, why don't we do this in Uganda?
Yes.
But there was quite lots of impact, and of course we shall be discussing towards the last minutes of the show the economic impact actually that they had.
Surprisingly, though, is that some other people are actually saying the Kenyan police was too patient. The Ugandan police doesn't take that for instinct.
I saw somebody posting something whereby it's the police running out from the demonstrators. And I'm like, in Uganda, you can't. There's no way you can do this. It was really it was a blast. I think it was, well, maybe in Uganda, there is something for us to learn from that demonstration. I don't know.
And resolving matters is the way forward for the region by the look of things here.
Yeah.
And as we head into the SMB Inside, we have Member of Parliament Tororo South, that is Honorable Angura Frederick, on the issues to do with this here, impact of the Kenyan demonstration on Uganda. Let's have it.
I run a very long border with our neighbors Kenya, and I am also privileged to be able to be representing one of the main artery border points that cross into Uganda, that is Malaba. We receive over 2,000 trucks that cross into the country every day with cargo, and over 1,000 trucks go back. The numbers have been continuing to increase, grow, but with the COVID coming in, it's a bit reduced in the flow, but that is coming up. So it would be very unfortunate if the relationship that we have with our Kenyan neighbors degenerates into what will affect the growing business interests and support across on either side. Because when there's a problem in Kenya or when there's a problem in Uganda, either sides are affected. For us, we have quite a good number of exports now that are going to Kenya, and not only from Uganda but also from the neighboring countries. And we also have a number of products and goods that we receive through Kenya, aware that Mombasa is the main port that serves us, the interior here, as a country and a neighboring country. So many of those trucks that I have talked about pass through the border. So any disconnection in terms of operations and movement of those persons, goods and services will be a problem. But in the meantime, I want to allay fears of those who are watching that along my corridor, and that is through the main artery, which is Malaba, the customs operations are moving on well. I have been getting reports from the managers at the customs points, both from the Ugandan and Kenyan side, who've been getting updates because aware that these concerns affect all of us. The operations are moving on well. And even on the other side of Kenya, people have continued with their normal day-to-day engagements. They have not come out in the numbers maybe as it was expected to maybe rally, have so many big gatherings. It has not been that so much busy as it was hyped up or as it was expected. So my only concern and plea is whatever could be happening in Kenya is something that can be solved. The economic crisis that has affected the whole Kenya is not only limited to Kenya, it has affected the whole world. It is a global situation arising from COVID, arising from the bad weather that we've also been grappling with here. Of course, food being one of the main commodities that can either bring peace but also disorganize the peaceful existence of people. The drought affected us. And you're aware that where there's no food, anything can happen. So this is something that has not only been limited to Kenya, but these are situations that can be managed. Here in the country, we might not be having enough as we would desire to support and supply the neighboring nations, but I know this is still enough food that can keep us going. And since the rains have started, my prayer would be on the side of food, let's fast track fast maturing crops, support the agricultural sector so that we can sort out that other food aspect and our people have something to put on the table. On the main economic aspect, but of course food being one of the main products that is traded, but other business interests should also be supported and should be allowed to flow and move freely. The movement of our goods and services, the movement of people will all create an impact. And this will economically transform into activities that will bring money into people's pockets. When there's money in your pocket, you can be able to knock at a supermarket and get something. So we must see the activities moving on without any interruptions. So my brothers and sisters from Kenya, your elections ended and ended well. Where there are challenges, I think it is not very far for us to prepare for the next election that should be coming, not in a long time from now. In the meantime, we can call upon all those who are involved to cooperate and see to it that the nations are bigger than individuals. Important is how can they and how can we also as neighbors work for the good of our people. Because for me at the border, it becomes difficult at times to know that I've even crossed to Kenya. The border, yes, we have the main borderline, but my people are all the time crossing to Kenya. That is part of the protocol that is available. They have their neighbors across. I have to attend every funeral that is in Kenya. They have to cross and attend every funeral that is in Uganda. I have to cross and go and sit and drink in the nearest trading center or maybe a family engagement. So people are moving. So when anything happens, it distorts all that flow. And it is my prayer that let's not get into this. You all remember what happened a few years ago. There are not many. The memories of what happened in Kenya, how businesses collapsed, how people lost lives, how people did what. We don't need to get to. We don't need to get to that. In the meantime, I want to say those I have talked to, the highways in Kenya are open and the traffic is moving like there's no any other problem. And I want to request those who have issues and what issues they want to express your issues in a manner that does not inconvenience other road users or other people who have their businesses to move on with. So I'm calling upon my neighbors, my brothers and my sisters in Kenya. Express your concerns. That is a given to you. But don't interfere with the movement of goods and services. And even those who want to continue with their day-to-day activities, just concentrate in your meetings, allow people to move on. There is a divergence in the expectations of people across, that is the neighborhood. There are those who are saying they don't want to see anything again that takes them back. So it means they are ready to continue working. This always happens even to us here, whenever we've had demonstrations here or whenever we've had movements and coordinated here, some interfere with people who are working. And that is where the authority comes in and to help sort out some of these issues. If you have a matter to raise it in a manner that the media and so on will capture, but by not interfering with those who are on their day-to-day movement. However, I want to call upon our drivers, those who are hauling our cargo, those who are hauling and moving our people, that be alert. Be alert, watch the situation as it moves, and that is where the security agencies in all your capacities ensure that the roads and the roads are safe for people to move, but also the people who are doing their businesses are given the opportunity to do their work without any inconveniences. And you who are involved in this, don't disorganize our people. But also, going for these demonstrations, you must be aware that many times those of you who are called without understanding what the interests may be end up to be the ones who suffer as the grass. So let's allow our leaders to discuss some of these issues and also allow them to dialogue on some of these issues After all, their desire and interest is working for the good and benefit of all of us as humanity. Yes, we have alternatives, but I don't think we should be focusing on those alternatives other than seeing where we can be part of to support our brothers to ensure that there is no problem in Kenya. There are other alternatives that are available to us. We have the Dar es Salaam route. It's a slightly longer route, but personally, as someone who has also been involved in seeing economic activities move here and there, I have encouraged my friends, my colleagues, that we should have the Dar es Salaam route running. But we should not focus on that at this point in time because we think Kenya is degenerating. No, the routes are there. The Dar es Salaam route is there. The Tanzanian route, the Kenya route is there. You can even choose to go to the Sudan route, it is there. You can even choose to go to the Congo route. All those routes are there, but they have their own challenges. Let's all focus on ensuring that the region is the sanity in the region, the economic activities in the region are not interrupted with. Trade is moving on well. Movement of our people is something that we should cherish so much, and these linkages will spur both economic growth, that is the quantitative aspect of it, economic development, the qualitative aspect of it, and we have resources in the pockets of our people. Once that is done, we don't need to look at which route is available. We don't need to go there. That is now the extreme bit of it. Kenya should be peaceful, and the peace in Kenya is a benefit to all of us as a region. If these are problems that need the partners to move in together and support, so be it. We have leadership in this region that can help solve any problem that affects all of us. We are Africans, we are East Africans. A problem the other side is a problem for us. We need to put our heads together and ensure that there is sanity there. But it starts with the people in that country. I am saying the food crisis are beyond any individual. Drought disorganized the whole world. The environmental challenges are now across the world. We also don't have as much food as possible here, but we are still moving. The economic aspect of it is a general issue. We are just getting out of COVID. We need to prepare ourselves well to avoid any further situations that can make our people and us entangled into confusion that can lead into a crisis bigger than maybe those we've seen in the past. So this can be sorted out.
Okay, and chaos in Kenya yesterday, full time after Baba Raila had revealed that that day, 20th of March, would be a public holiday where they will be protesting and, of course, trying to, let's say, get rid of the government of President William Ruto. Of course, some of the other key issues of that led to this kind of demonstration was not only the cost of living, but also because of the fact that Baba Raila Odinga believes that he deserves to be the 5th president of Kenya. And he continues to say he has to get to State House. And of course, yesterday was intended to be a march to State House, which plans weren't that successful because police was later on heavily deployed on the streets in Kenya. But of course, thousands of Kenyans hit the streets in the capital, Nairobi, and the neighboring counties to continue, of course, with their demand for change in governance. Meanwhile, also trying to show their grievances that the economy is not performing so well and it's costing most of them. And now joining us this morning on set, we do have Rona Nahawe, and of course Andrew Barige is still here as we get deeper into understanding what this means to the East African community and Uganda's economy in particular, with the fact that what has been revealed is that the Deputy President Gachagua said that Kenya's economy lost 2 billion shillings just to this particular demonstration yesterday. One full day, 2 billion Kenyan shillings was lost, according to that, because most of the businesses were closed, or the highest percentage of business people were left stranded, and most of them didn't turn up to work because of these demonstrations in Kenya. And of course, now, by the look of things here, Uganda's economy is still in the spotlight for Kenya. And Rona, many thanks for joining us. Good morning.
Good morning to you, Sonko.
by the look of things now, we all have our eyes set on Kenya's demonstrations.
Yeah.
And of course, Raila Odinga says that in the next few weeks as well, every Monday will be used
for demonstration.
Or Kenyans will be using it to rest. Because of the kind of the crisis they are facing as an economy. So it's a resting day to pray for the economy of Kenya.
I think it's absurd, especially for the business community. You mentioned quite a huge,
Amount of money,
that is lost. Now you imagine us that are really in close relationship with them. Most of our goods come from there. There's the trade barriers really at the Malaba border and the northern corridor. It is really absurd. I'm really hoping that it's not every Monday, because Mondays are regarded as productive days.
So true.
And why did he have to wait that long? The man was, reinstated as president. Why didn't he demonstrate and they finish the whole circus at once?
Okay.
So it is really not good. And I heard that there's also that provision. They say that Kenya is really a democratic country. There's a provision that they could share power.
Oh. But then a country will not be ruled as cannot be ruled by two presidents, because by the look of things, last year after the elections, he apparently went to the Supreme Court, and of course the ruling again showed that William Ruto was president.
But the Electoral Commission is saying that Raila won.
Okay, it's like every party has evidence that the Ruto side has evidence that they won the election. Raila Odinga's side has evidence that those elections were rigged. So.
But I think that is the puts African structure. No African president has lost an election and accepted the defeat. Every time someone loses, especially from the opposition, they'll still come out and say, I did win the election. I was cheated. The votes were miscounted. All these, my votes was, we've had all these cases of fraud in elections.
Nigeria, Kenya.
Even recently Nigeria. So you easily see, even Uganda here, whereby people normally have a saying that all those kind of conversations among the youth. So this undermines the let's say, for example, the electoral commissions,
the power of electoral commission,
and of course giving a very huge let's say point of dissatisfaction in the democracy, especially around different African countries. But besides that, let's look at the economy here. Kenya and Uganda. We've all had this kind of relationships for a time, and most of the goods that come via the road come from Kenya.
The northern corridor, Malaba.
So that means business is always coming to a standstill once such occurrences happen.
It's a big threat. It's really a big threat for the Ugandan business. I'm really, I cannot even put it in words. If they say it's every Monday that is, and you see now how much Kenya has lost, 2 billion. Now imagine the trucks that are waiting at Malaba, waiting to be transported, and how much cargo there. Because the more you wait, the more you have to pay, the more the dues. So, and Uganda does not even have that money. We are not doing as compared to Kenya. We are a landlocked country. We need all these relations. The borders need to be open. And recently I was talking with Siatini, ED, Madame Nalonga. She was telling our borders are so porous. Now, if you're hearing such things, the infrastructure problems, and now the country that we trade most with, where most of our goods come, because they come as far as China, where they open, and we are not, the relation or the border is really not that. There is no security. I was also telling someone that, do you know how much money is awarded to security area? It takes the biggest portion, because a secure country, a secure environment enables business. So this is a big threat, and I don't know, man. It's absurd. It's absurd, and I hope people really have to come up with. I hope they get sense. They resolve this demonstration, because demonstrations are good. They are better than even, because if it's a peaceful demonstration, people have rights. They have to exercise human rights. There is a law to that.
The Constitution allows you to.
You cannot impose that. So I'm really hoping that they wrap up with their circus and stabilize.
Well, of course, by the look of things, this kind of opposition from Raila Odinga and the team is actually hurting the economy, not only of Uganda, but steadily hurting the economy of Kenya. Because according to the deputy president, that is Rigathi, Gachagua says that this is actually hurting the economy more because the country lost, I did mention, 2 billion Kenyan shillings on the first day of these Azimio protests. So quite a number of business people in the CBD did not open their shops and businesses. The streets were really dry yesterday, and most of them were fearing the issue of looting and destruction of property, because we also police was actually having to fight with some of these particular Kenyans to put them to order. And at the end of the day, by the look of things here, there was also destruction of property, having considered what happened in Kisumu, where Azimio people looted chairs and food during such kind of protests. So there was also fear in Nairobi yesterday. That is why the entire city was quiet as early 8 a.m. yesterday. The reason was most of them didn't think that this would happen, but surprisingly the entire day was completely filled up with demonstrations and chaos. And
as early as morning,
yes,
things were already, even in business today, yesterday there was footage, playing aside of how people
were really filling the streets with demonstration, riots here and there, police coming in to curb the situation.
But I must commend him. He has a movement, quite masses, quite a number of people. They're really big.
The number, every opposition member has got people behind them, especially when they have one unity, or let's say something uniting them. For example, now the economy standard and the standards of the economy in Kenya currently, everyone is feeling the pinch.
The new reforms which the new regime came up with.
So all these are, people feel they are touched in a way. And they've actually some of them have actually had to put their political sides behind them to follow the movement, not because they want the president to step down. Some actually want the reforms to be worked on. So these are things that I think the Kenyan government and the Ruto administration is working on, to at least see that in the next few months or so. Some people actually revealed that maybe Raila Odinga wants a handshake from the president, and maybe during the handshake there will be a dialogue between the two to at least see how they can try to calm down the pressure of the angry Kenyans, especially those who are supporters of Baba Raila. Okay, and besides that, that is something that is continuing to create discussions rotating not only in Africa but with the international media as well. But as we're heading into the break, remember to invest, because with investment, especially around Zabu, even with such situations, it may never affect you that much if at all you're investing with the comfort of your phone. Star 292 hash is the USSD code that you can use to invest in the Zabu platform. Remember, with just a minimum of 15,000 Ugandan shillings, you will be able to kickstart off your investment journey. Zabu says you can use your NIN to register with the platform. My money, my future is what Zabu says. The markets open at 8:15 a.m. The closing time is 3:15 p.m. You can invest in government bonds with a minimum of 15,000 Ugandan shillings. There are also other available securities on the platform that you can choose to invest in and be part of Uganda's investment journey. You're still watching Smart Means Business. After the break, we go into our on-ground discussions and we return with more. Good morning.